Okay, good evening guys. Brian with VetteSource here, checking in today with what I had originally planned to be another step in our process of getting the yellow gold Formula 350 back together. But we're going to have to take a little bit of a side trip here, and I'll show you why in a second. I wanted to kind of give you guys an update and show you what I'd done in the last few days since we made our last video, in which we did a pretty heavy detailing of this corner of the Formula 350 back over here, starting in our front left quadrant, working our way back. And once I was off video, what I did was went ahead and moved my way over to here. We went ahead, I removed the windshield wiper motor, cleared out everything over here, and cleaned really well. I was really pleased with our cleaning results, as a matter of fact, because I was able to get all the way even back down in here. And of course I went ahead and pulled the cowl off, cleaned the cowl out quite a bit. But again, what we found was an issue that happens with cars that have been used a lot or get older. And you can see what happened as I cleaned. And now I cleaned up here with nothing more than just simply my nylon brush and some soap and some water, and you can see what happened. This paint came off of here. Now again, this area, especially all through here, this is all exposed to a lot of heat over the years, and it was pretty filthy as far as oil and grease trapped on top of it. So essentially, as soon as I took my nylon brush and got on there and started messing around with it, started scrubbing on it, it all just decided to come off on me. So, okay, not the biggest deal in the world. I'm not avoiding, patina to me on cars is cool. I don't mind it, but this was enough to where it was coming off. At first this here I could have lived with because it wasn't that big of a deal. You can't really see it. But now that we've got major spots of paint coming off right in here, you can see with the brush strokes where the nylon brush just took it right off. I said, well, let me go ahead. We're going to have to spot paint this. It even down in here where I cleaned real well down here, it just kind of naturally came off. And again, it's a problem with heat, time, and oil and grease contamination. So still, my mark is basically right here where I'm going to be starting at and moving my way over here. So today, what I was going to do for you guys was go grab myself a mixed up can of the correct code for this car. Now this is a yellow gold formula, okay? This was a Pontiac color. Well, Pontiac named it yellow gold, and of course it was literally the same color on the IROCs on the F-bodies, but they called it yellow gold 51U. And what's amazing about it is that it's extremely similar. You can see this kind of a light color here. I'll show you just for example. This is a 69 Corvette Daytona yellow, and these colors are almost the same. They're extremely similar. This one may be just a little bit lighter, but that's the original shade and pigment of the car. And this is the pigment of that, the 88 yellow gold. So when I first went to go get my can of aerosol paint, because all I was going to do is basically just spot paint this thing and get it back together, I didn't realize that because this was such a rare color, remembering I think there were probably less than 500 or so cars painted in this color in the 87, 88, maybe between the 2 years, maybe closer to 1,000, because it was only offered on the formulas at that time. When I went to go ask for this paint code, either they didn't have it or it was a special order or something. I didn't actually find anybody that would mix it up, and a couple of the stores were just flat closed, again, because of the circumstances we're going through. So, in essence, what I thought was going to be hop, skip, and a jump over to the store to go grab some paint to get it mixed up, I didn't get it. So I got stuck here. So we're going to be off on a side road for the next couple of things we do with this car. And it's a good illustration of when you work with some of these older vehicles like this, these are some of the things that'll crop up. Now, it's not a bad thing. It's just one of those things that happens because you're dealing with pieces of machinery that are vintage, more than a quarter of a century old in most cases, the cars I work with. So there are going to be things that pop up and you just address them. There's not a problem. It's just a situation that requires a solution. So in this case, what I'll do is we'll go ahead and wait for our paint to come in so that I can spot paint this next week. But in the meantime, I will probably address some of the other things. I'll probably change the brakes out like I thought I was going to do. I'll order up that new master cylinder there. May just get that out of the way so I can go ahead and spot paint this in here where I was thinking about doing it, because eventually that will just rust if I leave that bare. And we'll go from that direction. So we'll take the side road, the detour, and we'll do some of the other things. What I'll probably do too is go ahead and tear out the evaporator box, at least the top part of it, and get our AC system out of there so I can order up a new AC system. And I may go ahead and just clean up this other side beforehand, before we put the engine back together, just so I can get everywhere where the paint's going to come off and I can address that at the exact moment in time. So, sorry, unfortunately I wanted to start some reassembly today. This is just going to be one of those instances where I've got to do some of the other things. And, again, if it wasn't, if it was kind of a beater car, I would just leave that alone and not even worry about it. But the car looks nice enough that I think that I would probably need to go ahead and put this back. Now, something I should specify too is this, once our windshield wiper motor is back installed again, you're really not going to be able to see this area here, right? The motor actually comes down. That's what that cutout is for right there. So I'm not terribly worried here. What I'm worried about here is more this area. Now in this area too, this is why this paint so easily came off of here, was because, again, in the other video when I started talking about this is not clear coated. This was just sprayed on and left natural, and then over the years all the heat from the motor just radiated up into this section right here and coated it. You can actually see here where that grease is still right there, and I bet if I scrubbed too hard on that paint would come right off of there. But yeah, there we go. Now we can see it. So what'll happen is I'll scuff this up a little bit with my Scotch-Brite pad and get in here and we'll spray this. I don't know if I can do that. I may have to just put a stationary camera so you guys can watch me do a little painting. But what I'm going to do is tape off here over to here, and then I'll cover this area so it's not so glaring that you can see it. And then I'll probably re-clear this out. I'll pull out this master cylinder proportioning valve in the master cylinder and spray paint this area in here. Just like I said, I just don't want it to be so that you look at it and it all looks. And of course, this one here is obvious because you can actually see the brush marks, or the nylon brush, the marks it left as it went back and forth across it. So it's kind of an obvious thing, but yeah. So this is another reason, again, to go ahead and if you've got a car that you like, you want to maintain, take the time to wash under the hood every once in a while. Knock off the grease and the dirt and the dust and the oil, the spills, because over time it will weaken that paint to the point to where even if you do a light cleaning of it, like what I was doing, you're going to lose a lot of paint from that perspective. So that's going to wrap it up for me today. I'm not going to drag this out any longer. I know you guys have got other videos to watch probably, where the guys or girls are doing work on their cars today. So I want to thank you for hanging out, and I will be back next week with some more goodies for the Formula, or I may tear into the Corvette. We'll see what we've got for next week. So I'll talk to you guys then, okay? Thanks.